another one of Margot's Microgreen Minutes. We're going to do just a brief overview of what our microgreens need as far as lighting goes. So I'm going to just pull one of these out. If you look at the microgreens, this microgreen here, this is radish, and these are ready to harvest. They're only 10 days old, and they have never seen the sun. However, they have been under LED lights, and that is my preference for growing, is a bright light, a daylight light, 6500 LED. Is it necessary to have it that bright? Not necessarily, but you will get best growth and best nutrition from microgreens that have been grown in a bright daylight light. Now, there's other options. First of all, if you have a south-facing window, something that gets bright light for 8 to 10 hours a day, you can successfully grow microgreens in that window. Now, if it's sun, not just bright light, but sun for that long, you're going to have problems there because the sun will be too harsh coming through the window. So you do have to have a muted sunny window, a muted bright light window. If you don't have that, and if you don't have that type of a window, no fear, because like I do in my grow room, you can use artificial lighting. Now, there's 3 types of lighting that we're going to just briefly go over. First is fluorescent. Fluorescent is something that many growers have used in the past, and some large growers still do use them. They're better than incandescent. They're a lot cheaper to run. They don't get as hot. They do have most of the right spectrum for plant growth. However, they do have issues, and the reasons that I don't really prefer fluorescent is, first, they have infrared and ultraviolet lights. That is not necessary for plant growth, and it does cause eye strain and eye fatigue, and those that are photosensitive may have a problem with fluorescent lighting in their home all the time. So I would suggest avoiding fluorescent lighting. Now the next is grow lights. Grow lights like this one here. This is a Fairy Morse grow light. This is something I picked up in a garden center just as a trial. A grow light is nice, however, it is not necessary for microgreens. We're not growing flowers. A grow light is important, the full spectrum is important if you are trying to grow flowers, but because we're growing only for 10 to 21 days at the most with microgreens, we don't need the full spectrum in here. However, here's the other thing though with the grow lights. Sometimes it's just more convenient, and that's why I got this to show you. This comes with a little stand. If I want to move it from a counter to a counter, or I just have a very small space with nothing, no place to hang a light from, this is actually a good option, because microgreens, of course, will do very well with a grow light. So with this grow light here, if I take my 10-20 tray and put it right under, you see this fits perfectly over it. I would require 2 of these to go over a 10-20 tray. The 10-20 tray is the one that I use for the ultimate grow kit. And it's the most common size for both growers and for serious home growers. Okay, let me put that back. So the grow light that comes with a stand is a good option if that is what fits your needs as far as where you're going to put it. Another option for grow lights is this little grow light here I got at Walmart for $10 in the hardware section. Now I do want to give you a little heads up there. If you go to the garden department, you're going to pay probably about $25. If you go to the hardware department, you pay anywhere between $9 and $12. I think they're running about $12 at the moment. So if you choose to go for a grow light, go to a hardware store rather than a garden, the garden area, and you'll find it a lot less expensive. Now, I used these ones for many years when I was growing, before I was growing commercially. I had a little greenhouse that was about this tall, about this wide, and I grew in that for about 10 years using these very successfully. I had 3 of them per shelf. I had 3 shelves going, and I grew enough for my whole family for years and years. So these ones do work perfectly well. I don't use the grow lights any longer because they're more expensive and it's not necessary for microgreens. So what I use now are LEDs. Now this is a very long LED. Obviously, it's not probably something that you're going to use on a countertop unless you have a 4-foot area that you want to dedicate to growing microgreens. But you can get these in 2-foot lengths. And you can purchase these very reasonably on Amazon. I think they're like $40 for 6 of these. If you are growing just 1 tray at a time, one 10, 20 at a time, you would need 3 of these. So that, if you get 6 2-foot lengths ones, you could have 2 trays going all the time. And the nice thing about LED, first of all, they emit the right light for our microgreens, but also they're very inexpensive to run. That was my initial, when I chose the LEDs for my grow room, that was my initial reason, because I want to be as economical and not use any more electricity than necessary. So they have a better intensity of light. They're low watt, they're high efficiency, they're low cost, they put out very little heat, and they're mercury free, which the fluorescents are not, and they have a very long lifespan. I've used my sets for the last 3 years and have never had one go out, and I use them 12 to 18 hours a day. So LEDs are a really good option. Now, a couple things when you're buying LEDs, there's a wide variety of options. If you go on looking for LED lighting, you're going to find some really expensive ones, some square ones, some LED grow lights. You can pay hundreds of dollars for them, but I'm here to tell you that's not necessary. Just get inexpensive T5s. Now, T5, what the T in there stands for tubular. So these are tubes. You can see they're just round tubes. The 5 stands for 5/8. So a T8 would be 8/8 or 1 inch in diameter. A T5 is 5/8 inch in diameter, and so forth. So that's what the T and the 5 mean. What I use is a T5 6500 K or 6500 Kelvin. The number behind it tells you what type of light that the light is going to be putting out. 6500 actually is ideal for microgreens. It's a very bright daylight, and it has a lot of blue spectrum in it. There was a study done on kale microgreens under different lights, and one of the things that I found interesting in this study was that incandescent and fluorescent lights made the kale microgreens grow faster. However, the LED increased the pigments, which meant that it increased the nutrition in the microgreens. So basically, LED is going to provide you with a healthier microgreen. Okay, so I would suggest getting a 6500 LED light. if you can find that available. If you can't find 6,500, 6,000 will do. You can even go as low as 5,500. Now, when you're putting your microgreen or your lights above your microgreens, you want the light no more than 7 inches above the canopy. Canopy means the top of the greens. So you want to put the light, hang the light no more than 7 inches. I generally try and have mine about 6 inches above when they're first coming up. So here's the top of my tray. I set the light so they're 6 inches above the tray. Now, if you're growing peas, for example, peas grow much taller, much faster, you may need to have it at 7 inches above. But the height above the canopy is important. All right, so there you have it. And that's a wrap up of the best lighting for microgreens. Now, please, I'm going to ask before we go, please would you hit subscribe? I would really appreciate that. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. It would help Mighty Microgreen and help us continue growing. If you have any questions, leave them down there in the comments or get a hold of me. Get a hold of me at themightymicrogreen.com or find me on Facebook, The Mighty Microgreen, at the Microgreen Hub. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Take care. Happy growing.